Hello and welcome back to another week of
Tube Talk.
Tube Talk with your hosts, Albin and Sophie Bosma.
Yes, replacing Melissa, who was here last week. Replacing you.
Yes, I was not feeling well last week. I apologise.
No, that's right.
But we're back, ready to do this. First of all, let's talk about last week.
Let's do that.
We had Raposa Repeater, our bet of the week, also our horse, who won.
Yes, very good ride from Danielle Johnson. Wide draw, sat in the trail and bolted in. Very good, very progressive horse. He'll go to Rukaka for rating 65-1200 on the 16th of June next. And 5 bets of the week in a row.
Why are you holding up 6 fingers?
Because we're going for 6 later on today.
We're going for 6 later on today. However, before we get into that, we also have another horse to talk about, which is Top Actress, who came second at Matamata on Wednesday.
Yeah, she seems to be running second most of her life. She's good enough to be winning. I'm sure it's just a confidence thing. Once she wins, she's going to be away. She was tough. She blinkers on the first time. She probably over-raced a little bit. And then, but was taken on, kicked well, just one horse out wide. Got up and won, but went well for second. We'll look to try and get a slightly better track at Te Rapa for her next start, maybe next Saturday the 9th over a mile again, and as always we'll be right in the thick of it.
And this week we've got quite a few runners to talk about.
We do. Oh, and just another note. Can I say a couple of notes?
Go for it.
So broodmare wise, first of all we had a Belle Tester who we're going to talk about shortly. Her half brother won a Group 1, so she's become quite valuable. Last week, $1 million Singapore guineas, and we sold 2 mares on the Gold Coast at the Gold Coast sale. No More Tears made 550,000 Australian dollars, about 600k, and Rude Not To made $500,000 to about 550,000. So great results for those syndicates.
Awesome. Now for the next week, which one would consider a large week with 9 runners, which is more than 6.
Yes. There's more than 6. Sophie is saying that more than 6 is a big week.
Yeah, when I ask about how many horses there are, if it's 4 or less, it's a small week. 5 to 6, it's a medium week. More than 6, it's a big week. And Dad said, it's a reasonable week. And there's 9 runners.
It's a big week.
So let's get into it. Starting on Thursday at Fielding in race 7, we've got Form Pass.
Yeah, he's kind of fresh up over a mile. He's got 65 kilos. Or 1,550 metres, I should say. It's really a warm-up race for his next race over ground. He's got a nice barrier of 3. Alex Shin rides, claims 4 kilos, brings his weight down to 56. I'm expecting a nice run, but it's his next start that we're really looking at. This is kind of a warm-up for him. If he was to win, we'd take it, but I just think he'll need further.
And on Friday at South Canterbury in race 4, we have got Elusive Boxes.
Yeah, she's stepping up in grade. She's in the 85 grade because there's no 75 grade race. Gets in the minimum of 54 kilos. Sam Collett will ride. Country's leading jockey. Just cannot draw a good barrier. She's got barrier 10, will make it tough for her. Track should be about a slow 7, which will suit. We'll need. She's going well enough, but from that draw, we're going to be back. We're going to need a bit of luck. There's a 75 race for in a couple of weeks' time, which will suit her better if we can get a good draw.
Also on Friday at South Canterbury, but in race 6, we have got Rock the Cradle.
Rock the Cradle, second at his second race of his career. But last start at Riccarton, probably a bit too deep for him. Wasn't quite strong enough to get through it. He's got an outside barrier draw of 14. Sam Collett rides will ride him a little bit more conservatively and see him hitting the line. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see him in the thick of it. I think he's got quite a good motor. He's just working his races out at the moment, and we're working him out racing wise. But wouldn't be surprised to see him in the thick of it at good money.
And at Singapore, in Singapore, on Friday in race 6, we have got Holy Grail.
Another horse like Elusive Boxes. Sorry, as I scratch my eyeball. Who can't draw barriers. Got barrier 10 of 11. He keeps drawing outside over 1,700 metres. If he just drew a barrier, he'd be right in the thick of things. He's going really well. Last couple of runs hitting the line hard for 4ths and 5ths. Not quite sure what we'll do yet, whether we'll go forward or we will ride him as we have last couple of starts. 53.5 kilos, going well. He's a definite top 3 chance.
And on Saturday at Wanganui in race 4, we have got Sentimental Miss.
The listed Castletown Stakes, second on debut. Could have probably won if she'd had a race experience under her belt. Look, it's a strong field, but she's got barrier 4. Robbie Hannam, who's done a lot of work on her and was desperate to get on it, is riding her, so he's going to be very keen to do well on her. Should get a nice run. He's got a lot of ability. We'll be going out for a break after this. If we can grab some black type in front of the first 3, it'll certainly make her value, and she can do that in what is a strong field. Track conditions hopefully will be sort of slowish, and she should cope with that.
And in race 8, also at Saturday at Wanganui, on Saturday at Wanganui I should say, we've got Brahmarama.
Yes, Brahmarama, 5th last start on a track that was too heavy for him, but fought hard. He's going up in grade. We wanted to go a mile, there was no 65 miles, so he's going rating 75 mile. So the disadvantage of that is racing against 3, 4 win horses. The advantage is he's getting in on the minimum 54 kilos. Nice barrier for him, 3. He should get a reasonable run in transit, and we're just going to look for the better ground. And although he's going up in grade, he can run well. He's a talented horse on the way through.
And on Sunday at Te Rapa in race 1, we have got Bell Tester.
Yeah, so this is the Auckland meeting which has been transferred there because Ellerslie course is being redone. Bell Tester, really good third at Ruakaka last start. She's got a nice draw in the middle of the pack. It's an amateur riders race, but we've got Scott Wen, who's the Hugh Bowman of amateur riders, on her. 68 kilos, but the top weight 70, bottom I think is 66.5. She should get a nice run in transit. She's fit. The track shouldn't be too wet for her. Hopefully it's just in the slow range. As a winning chance.
Also on Sunday at Te Rapa in race 4, we have got Rock Island Line.
Yeah, talented winter horse on the way through. Probably the one thing against him is it might not be quite wet enough for him. I mean, he goes on dead and slow surfaces. Just when it gets heavy, I think he'll handle it and others won't. Against his own age group, over a mile, he's looking for the mile. That suits. He's got a nice draw. Robbie Hannam, who loves the horse, is riding him. It looks a pretty even sort of field, but he's a definite top 3 chance. The rain would not hurt his chances.
And finally, also on Sunday at Te Rapa in race 8, we have got Mighty Solomon.
Great to see him bounce back to form last start with a second. He's got a good draw this time, much better draw. He'll be able to sit closer to the speed. He drops some weight down to 54 kilos, which is fantastic for him. He's a really good blowout chance. Should just be about a dead 6 if there's no rain, something like that, dead 5. I think he's an excellent chance on Sunday of winning, breaking through, and he'll be over the odds. He'll be $9, $10, $11.
And now we move on to Bet of the Week.
The thousands of people be coming in for this because we're going for the pick 6, trying to get 6 winners. Sorry, you're shaking your head.
I'm shaking my head because it's Bet of the Week.
Bet of the Week.
No.
Okay, I'll just do it.
No, it's okay.
Say again. I'll get it right. Go.
Bet of the Week. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. That's good.
I'm in trouble.
It's just Bet of the Week. I don't know why we changed it. Anyway, our Bet of the Week was Raposa Repeater.
Last week.
And
$4.80.
success.
Yes.
Obviously. This is Go Racing.
Yes.
Your best bet for success.
Yes. People are wanting us to get on with it, Sophie.
Yes. And we shall. Bet of the Week this week is, drumroll please, Ole Ole, running on Saturday at Te Rapa in race 7.
Yes, and the Auckland Futurity Stakes listed 1400 metres. He's a horse that placed over a mile in the Champagne Stakes, listed level. He then dropped back to 1100 metres in a really strong field at Te Rapa last start, listed race, placed again. So he's fit, he likes Te Rapa, he's got the inside barrier draw, he's obviously versatile, can run over any distance. Jonathan Riddell on, set weights and penalties. I don't think it's an overly strong field for a listed race, and he looks a good bet. I'd be happy to take $2.80 about Ole Ole, and I think he'll be very, very hard to beat. So we've gone a little bit shorter this week, but that's Not because we're getting conservative, but just because we think he is a standout.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you very much, Sophie.
Thank you, Robert.
And we'll see everyone next week.